Morning in the forest arrived with a light mist in the air and sunlight filtering through the leaves. Today was the annual day of exploration. Each year on this day, everyone would split into teams and embark on a mission to follow a map of clues deep into the forest to find the little treasure box hidden by Grandpa Owl. Mimi stood in front of the bulletin board, carefully reading the newly posted team list. "Little Red Fox and Little Gray Wolf," he murmured, reading out the names on the list. His eyes drifted to the bottom of the card. His own name was marked as support. In the distance, Little Red Fox stood tall with her arms crossed. Little Gray Wolf crouched on the ground, head lowered in thought. Their eyes never met, but an unmistakable tension passed between them. "I don't like complicated methods. It's faster to just go straight," Little Gray Wolf said flatly, yet the resistance in his voice was clear. "No one asked you to match my pace." Little Red Fox raised an eyebrow. "I can handle my part on my own." Mimi walked over and handed them a neatly folded clue map. "This map only shows half of the route. The other half is hidden somewhere in the forest. You'll have to work together to complete it," he said gently. "Why does it have to be together?" Little Gray Wolf frowned. "I can find it myself." Little Red Fox didn't respond. She simply tucked the map into her pocket. Mimi smiled and nodded. "It'll be behind you, not too close, and not too far." The journey began. The starting point on the map was a hill overgrown with wild grass. At its peak stood a tilted wooden sign pointing southeast into the forest. Little Red Fox walked quickly, pausing every few steps to check the map. Little Gray Wolf, meanwhile, strode forward on his own, paying her no attention. "Can you slow down a bit? Aren't we supposed to read the map together? Your eat is slow. I barely looked up and you were still standing there," Red Fox said without turning her head, and quickened her pace. Mimi followed behind them, quietly jotting a note into his notebook. Two partners walking the same path, each with their own rhythm. By afternoon, they reached a stream. Across the water, a red ribbon was tied to a tall tree. That was the next clue. "Let's just jump over," Little Gray Wolf said, bracing himself at the edge. "Wait, maybe we can find a path around." Before Red Fox could finish, her foot slipped and she fell into the water. "Ah!" Little Gray Wolf quickly crouched down and reached out his arm, a serious look on his face. Red Fox blinked, then took his hand. He pulled her out of the stream. "I'm not trying to criticize you," Little Gray Wolf said quietly. "I just don't know how to say things nicely." Red Fox didn't respond right away. Instead, she pulled a towel from her bag and began drying off in silence. The rest of the journey was quiet. They walked on in silence. Beneath an old tree, they found the second half of the map. Tucked alongside it was a note written by Grandpa Owl. The note read, "Some maps only become clear when seen through two sets of eyes." Softly, Little Red Fox said, "If you don't mind, we could take turns reading the route out loud. It'll help write it down." "Sure," Little Gray Wolf said with a small smile. His tone was no longer guarded. Their steps were out of sync, but their direction was the same. The sky was darkening, and the breeze in the forest had turned cool. They followed the newly combined map and continued onward. The path ahead grew noticeably rougher. Overgrown trails were littered with slippery stones and crawling vines. As they walked, Little Red Fox suddenly stopped and pointed to a stone slab up ahead. "That shape. It looks just like the symbol on the map." They knelt down and brushed aside fallen leaves, revealing a wooden box hidden beneath. It was large, and it was wrapped with two loops of vine. "This must be it," said Little Gray Wolf. Little Red Fox tried to open it, but the vines were tightly wound. She struggled to untie them, but couldn't. Little Grey Wolf took the box and gave it a try but pulled too hard, nearly cracking it open. Mimi gently stepped forward and took the box. From his backpack he pulled out a piece of cloth dampened with warm water and softly wiped along the knots. Sometimes, it's not about force but about time and care, he said. At last, the vines slowly loosened. Inside the box, there were no golden coins or sweet treats, just a thin, wooden plaque engraved with a single line. May you find a shared rhythm, even in your differences. Little Red Fox and Little Grey Wolf exchanged a glance. Neither said a word. Did we maybe start this the wrong way? Red Fox asked softly. Little Grey Wolf gave a small nod. I always speak too fast before others can even react. I'm already upset. Me too, Red Fox said with a quiet laugh. I'm so afraid of being disliked that I always try to prove myself first. But maybe that just pushes others away. They didn't stand up right away. They just sat there for a while among the trees. Mimi sat quietly behind them, watching. Sunlight filtered down through the branches like it was gently illuminating two hearts, slowly drawing closer. On the walk back, they moved together, side by side, talking. Neither lead and neither followed. If there's a next time we're partnered up, would you still want to team up with me? Little Grey Wolf asked. Red Fox blinked, then smiled. Depends, are you going to jump into the river again? Little Grey Wolf laughed too, and this time it wasn't rushed. It stayed on his face, warm and steady. When they returned to the meeting point, Grandpa Owl was finishing up the day's records. Mission complete? Grandpa Owl asked. Complete, they answered in unison. Did you understand the words inside the box? He asked with a wink. We did, Red Fox nodded. After that walk, I think we understand ourselves a little better too. Mimi stepped forward and handed Grandpa Owl a note he had written from the day's observations. Grandpa Owl read it aloud. Some partners begin like shadows standing back to back, but when they walk toward the light together, they start to see each other's shape.